Chloe, no last name, just the girl who keeps her takeout menus in alphabetical order, her late-night thoughts in the Notes app, and her emergency batteries in the junk drawer right next to the half-melted candle and the receipt from the Thai place. She swears she'll stop ordering from. Stands on tiptoe in the kitchen at 7:42 p.m., hoodie slipping off one shoulder, bare feet cold on the tile that always stays 1 degree cooler than the rest of the apartment. The grout between the squares still slightly sticky from this morning's orange juice spill she meant to mop up. The smoke alarm is chirping like a judgmental bird. Beep, beep, beep. Every 45 seconds, right on schedule, the kind of sound that starts as background noise, turns into a migraine, and ends up making you question every life choice that led to this moment. She's got a fresh 9-volt in one hand, dug out after 3 minutes of drawer rummaging, a dining chair dragged in like a makeshift ladder with one leg shorter than the others, and zero reach in the other, her fingertips brushing the bottom of the alarm like it's personally mocking her height when her phone buzzes with a text. On my way. E. The screen lights up her face in blue, the notification banner cutting through the dim kitchen light like a lifeline. You guys will never believe what happened. I'm Chloe, 22, and this is happening right now. 7:42 p.m. on a Thursday that smelled like burnt toast from lunch, felt like a headache from the chirp, and just caught fire in a whole new way. The alarm is still chirping like it's got opinions. The battery is still clenched in my fist like a tiny grenade. The echo of his text is still glowing on my screen with that little read receipt I didn't mean to send. The chair is still wobbling under my non-existent plan, and the faint scent of cedar and engine oil is already curling under the door like smoke from a different kind of alarm. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, drop a comment if you've ever had a chirp turn into this. Let's go. I open the door before he knocks, heart doing that stupid flutter thing it does when I'm not prepared. Everett stands there, toolbox in one hand, metal, scuffed with a faded sticker from some auto parts store that closed 5 years ago, new battery already in the other, like he knew, like he keeps spares just in case, like he's been waiting for an excuse. Salt and pepper hair still damp from the shop sink or maybe the drizzle outside, green eyes cataloging every detail from the wobbly chair to the burnt toast smell lingering in the air, to the way my hoodie's slipping lower with every breath, flannel sleeves rolled high, forearms dusted with sawdust, and a faint grease streak on one knuckle that looks like it's been there since breakfast, maybe longer. A tiny scar near his elbow catches the hallway light, a thin white line from some long-ago job, another faint mark on his thumb like a hammer kissed it. Once and never apologized, a third on his wrist from something sharper. Heard the chirp from the street, he says, half smile, calm as dusk settling over the parking lot, voice low like he's telling a secret to the threshold. Need a hand? Dead in the battery, I answer, stepping aside, the chair creaking behind me like it's jealous. Welcome to the chaos. He crosses the threshold like he's been here before in another life, like the floorboards know his weight and approve. Boots off at the mat, slow, deliberate, laces untied with one practiced tug, socks dark with melted snow from earlier and a hole starting at the heel he doesn't seem to notice. He sets the toolbox on the counter next to the pad thai container from last night and the orange juice lid I still haven't found, takes the battery from my hand without asking. Our fingers brush, static. Not the cute kind. The kind that makes your scalp tingle and your stomach drop like you just missed a step. Figured you'd be up a chair with a butter knife again, he says, eyeing the chair like it personally offended him, like he remembers the curtain rod incident. I laugh, too loud, too nervous, the sound bouncing off the cabinets. Learned my lesson last time, mostly. The tension coils, quiet, electric, the kind that makes the air feel thicker, like the room's holding its breath with us. He climbs the chair, it steadies under his weight, no wobble, like it respects him. Toolbox clinking like soft bells on the floor beside him. I stand beneath him, useless, hoodie slipping lower, the chirp finally silent under his thumb as he pops the cover. He doesn't look down right away, just runs a calloused finger along the alarm's edge, listening to the silence where the beep should be, testing the contacts like he's diagnosing a heartbeat, his shadow falling across my face in the overhead light. Low battery, he murmurs, voice rumbling low enough to vibrate in my chest. These hate surprises, like orchids and first dates. Tell me about it, I say, and my voice comes out breathier than planned, like I've been holding it since the first chirp at 6:15. Small talk starts safe. Weather, crisp, threatening rain, toast, charcoal, definitely not salvageable. My latest takeout order, pad thai, extra lime, circled in red on the menu stuck to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a chili pepper. But every answer pulls us closer, like the kitchen's shrinking, like the counter's inching toward us. He asks about the grease smudge on my wrist, from trying to fix my bike last week and failing spectacularly. I ask about the scar on his elbow. He tells me it's from a slipped wrench when he was 19, working late in his dad's garage, blood on the concrete, and a lesson in leverage. He never forgot. I tell him the pad thai is about waiting for something to spark. The lime, the heat, the moment. His eyes flick down, storm green, unreadable, catching. The kitchen light like bottled lightning, then back to the alarm. Sometimes you just gotta swap the power, he says, sliding the new battery in with a soft click. Sometimes you gotta let the spark in, I answer, and the words taste like lime and risk. He twists the cover shut, a click, a hush, then silence. Blessed silence. The alarm goes dark, the room suddenly too quiet, like it's waiting for permission to breathe. He steps down, slow, wipes his hands on a rag from his pocket, faded red, oil-stained, soft from 1,000 washes, and suddenly the kitchen feels smaller, warmer, dangerous. Should hold, he says, voice softer now, like he's not just talking about the alarm, like he's testing the air between us. I step closer, bare feet on cool tile now, the sticky spot under my heel reminding me of the orange juice, until the space between us is just heartbeats and cedar and the faint hum of the fridge. You didn't have to bring a battery, I say, trying for casual, failing. Figured you'd be low, he repeats, softer, eyes on mine, not blinking. I'm not anymore. His gaze drops to my mouth, lingers like he's reading the fine print, climbs back up. Chloe, he says, my name careful, like it might burn if he says it too loud, like it's a live wire. I've been noticing you for a while, I whisper, the confession slipping out like the battery cover did. I noticed. I reach out, fingertips brushing the stubble along his jaw. Rough, warm, real, the kind of texture you want a map with more than fingers. He catches my wrist, not to stop me, just to hold, thumb pressing the frantic pulse there, like he's checking I'm alive, like he's sinking to it. His skin is warm, battery warm, cedar warm, sawdust warm. You should invoice me, I say, the words tumbling out before I can stop them. Consider it neighborly, he answers, but his grip tightens, thumb tracing the vein in my wrist like he's following a river on a map. Neighbors don't look at each other like that. Neighbors don't stand this close. For a moment we're statues, the fridge humming its approval, the silence stretching like taffy. Then he leans in, slow, deliberate, until his forehead rests against mine. Cedar breath, sawdust, the faint metallic tang of tools still on his fingers, the faint lime from my imagination. Tell me to leave, he murmurs, voice rough like gravel under boots. Stay, I answer, the word barely air, barely a whisper, but it lands like a spark. The alarm's finally quiet. Might as well enjoy the silence. He smiles then, real and reckless, the kind that crinkles the corners of his eyes and makes the scar on his elbow dance, and sets the rag on the counter like a white flag, like surrender, like finally. Outside, the sky deepens to indigo, the first stars pricking through like they're watching. Inside, we don't cool down, we talk in whispers. About the scar, about the pad thai, about the way the silence hums like it's singing back up, like it's been waiting for this duet. We laugh when the alarm gives a phantom chirp and we both flinch. End up closer than before, my shoulder brushing his chest, his hand lingering on the small of my back like it's found home. When the clock hits 8:42, he pulls me onto the couch, blanket around us both, the fuzzy one I bought on sale and never folded. And we watch the streetlights flicker on one by one, painting the window in soft orange pools. He tells me about the orchids in his greenhouse that refused to bloom until the first hard frost, how he stopped forcing them years ago and just let the cold do its work. I tell him the takeout menu is finally getting a new favorite tonight. His name in the notes section, extra lime. He brushes a hair from my cheek at 9:17 p.m., fingers lingering on the strand like he's testing its weight, like he's afraid it'll vanish. Still chirping? He asks, voice low, teasing. Good, I whisper back, leaning into his hand. Let it ring. The night thickens. muffling the city into a hush, the drizzle starting soft against the window like applause. The alarm stays dark, steady as a heartbeat, no drama, no judgment. We shift on the couch until my head rests on his shoulder, his arm draped along the back, fingers tracing idle circles on my upper arm. Slow and steady, like he's tuning a radio to the exact frequency of me. The takeout menu lies forgotten on the table, the chili magnet winking in the lamplight. I close my eyes and breathe him in. Cedar, silence, the faint warmth of the room finally winning against the draft that used to sneak under the door. His thumb finds the pulse at my wrist again, counts it like he's memorizing the rhythm, like he's learning the song of my blood. At 10:03, he stands, pulls me up with him, hand warm and sure in mine. "Show me the menu," he says, voice rough with something unspoken, something patient. I lead him to the fridge where the takeout flyers are magnetized in a chaotic collage. Thai, pizza, sushi, all fighting for space. I tug one free, pad Thai, extra lime, circled in red pen from last week, the ink slightly smudged from fridge condensation. He studies it in silence, then reaches out, thumb hovering just above the circle, not quite touching, like he's afraid to disturb the order. "It's spicy," he says. "It's waiting," I correct, stepping closer, close enough to feel the heat rolling off him. He turns to me, eyes soft, kitchen light catching the gold in them. "What for?" "You," I say, and the word hangs between us like the last chirp before it dies, like the last battery before it clicks. He kisses me then, slow, deliberate, like he's been holding it back since the first chirp at 6:15, since the first static spark, since the first time he saw me struggling with groceries and pretended not to notice. My hands fist in his flannel, his palms slide to my waist, lifting me onto the counter beside the fridge like I weigh nothing, like I'm made of silence. Magnets clatter to the floor, chili, pizza slice, a souvenir from a trip I never took. The alarm stays silent in approval, the room suddenly full of nothing but us. Outside, the drizzle turns to rain, soft and steady. Inside, we don't notice. Midnight finds us back on the couch, blanket forgotten on the floor, my legs across his lap, his fingers tracing the line of my knee like he's mapping new territory, like he's reading Braille on my skin with the patience of someone who waits for orchids. He tells me about the first winter he spent alone after she died, how the greenhouse orchids refused to open until he stopped trying to force them, how he learned that some things need the cold to bloom. I tell him about the night I moved into this apartment 2 years ago, how the empty walls hissed like they were angry at me for existing, how I played music too loud just to fill the silence, how the smoke alarm chirped then too, and I ignored it for 3 days. He answers with another kiss, softer this time, like punctuation, like a promise written in lime and cedar. At 1:27 a.m., the power flickers, once, twice, then steadies, the fridge humming back to life. The takeout menu flutters to the floor, the chili magnet rolling under the couch. The room dims to a single lamp, casting us in a glow so faint it feels like a secret we're keeping from the dark. He stands, offers his hand, pulls me up. "Come on." I follow him to the window. The street is silent, frost starting on the glass, rain turning to sleet. He presses his palm to the pane. I cover it with mine, our hands overlapping, warmth bleeding through the cold. Our breath fogs the window in matching clouds, swirling together like smoke signals. "Still quiet?" he asks again, voice rough with sleep and want and wonder. "Never was," I say. And he laughs, low and warm, the sound vibrating through his chest into mine, through the glass into the night. We end up on the floor, backs against the couch, blanket around us both, the coffee table pushed aside to make room for legs and laughter and the quiet kind of chaos that doesn't need words. He pulls a notepad from the junk drawer, mine, the one with the grocery list that says batteries, lime, courage, flips to a blank page, hands me a pen. "Order me," he says. I do. Quick lines, pad Thai, extra lime, his name in the notes section in all caps. He watches my hands, not the paper, like he's memorizing the motion, the curve of my letters. When I finish, he takes the pen, turns the page, orders me, hoodie slipping, eyes half closed, mouth curved in a smile I didn't know I was wearing, the grease smudge on my wrist like a signature. We trade the pad back and forth until the lines blur into something neither of us can name, until the page is full and the pen runs dry and the sleet taps the window like it's keeping time. At 2:11, the alarm gives a satisfied hush, like it's done its job and ready to sleep, like it's winking at us from the ceiling. We're not. He stands, pulls me up, leads me to the kitchen where the old battery sits forgotten next to the orange juice lid I finally found under the chair. He pours 2 glasses of water from the tap, hands me one, the glass cool against my lips, condensation beating like tiny alarms. Last sip, he says. I drink. It's cold, clean, perfect. He takes the glass, sets it down, kisses the taste from my lips, slow, deliberate, like he's savoring the last note of a song that's been on repeat all night. The sleet thickens, painting the window in delicate lace, the street white and silent outside. Inside, the alarm hums low in its sleep, the battery finally still, the kitchen light flickering once like it's tired. We don't notice. We're on the couch again, tangled under the blanket, his heartbeat under my ear, steady and strong like a new battery, my fingers tracing the scar on his wrist like it's a map to everywhere I've always wanted to go, like it's the title of the takeout order I'll never delete. Dawn creeps in around 5:47, pale and shy through the window, quiet, safe, glowing with the first light of morning, turning the sleet to diamonds on the glass. He stirs first, presses a kiss to my temple, lingers like he's reluctant to move, like the greenhouse can wait, like the world can wait. Gotta check the orchids, he murmurs, voice rough with sleep and cedar and something softer, something that sounds like stay. I nod, half asleep, already missing the weight of him, the warmth of the blanket, the way his hand fits in mine like it's been there all along. He stands, pulls on his boots, leaves the flannel on the floor like a promise, the rag still on the counter like a bookmark. The notepad open to our orders. At the door he pauses, looks back, eyes soft in the early light, the scar on his elbow catching the dawn like a signal. Still safe? He asks. Burning, I answer, voice sleepy but sure, the word tasting like lime and forever. Chloe winks at the camera. Phone propped on the counter, battery dead, red light long gone, the alarm silent above her like a guardian. And that's how checking the smoke alarm became everything. How one chirp turned into a night that rewrote the silence. Quiet has a way of making quick fixes spark, doesn't it? Like subscribe, ring the bell, comment your wildest chirp story. Chloe's dangerous desires just set off something else, and the alarm's never going off again.